Good morning and welcome to our show. This is Mario from the Mario's Perspective USA show. Today we're talking about two subjects, not easy subjects today. First of all, we've always said we're going to talk about what's going on in our country. Lately there's a lot of news about the black community, and when I'm referring to the black community, I'm referring to people like Don Lemon from CNN, who claims they should be reparations paid to the black community because their ancestors were slaves, and countries like the UK, which is England, the United States of America, and others should pay the descendants of slaves who are in the United States, in UK, and in other countries. And they're asking for the very small amount of $97 trillion for all the hours the slaves worked and were not paid, and the owners made money. So I started thinking, we all owe money to the black community? I don't think that's fair. Okay, that's number one. Number two, history is history. Things happen. I'm not saying they were right or they were wrong, but they happened and we're not responsible. There was a lot of people who were responsible about the Jews in World War II dying at death camps, or a lot of Japanese who did experiments on Americans, on Chinese, Koreans, Vietnamese. Horrible things. Is every citizen of Japan today liable? No. And if so, what would be the price? But the black community has always used the race card in the United States of America. I don't get this job because I'm black. Other cops stop me because I am black. Well, as the second largest minority group in the United States, the black community, they're the second largest minority group in the United States. They're the biggest minority group in jail. I've said it before, George Floyd, I didn't agree what happened to him. But there were protests. This guy had a record. He wasn't no saint. And I've said it before, he wasn't the best citizen of the United States of America. But the black community likes to exaggerate. I think they use their race card too much. Reparations, because their forefathers were slaves. After the Civil War, around 5,000 former slaves returned to Africa. They started a country, Liberia, it's in West Africa. But most of them didn't want to go back. But I understand why. Mexican Americans, athletes, like former and present, like Oscar de la Hoya, Fernando Vargas Sr., used to go in the ring with a Mexican flag and an American flag. Why? Because we know where we're from. If any American boxer that's black goes into the ring, they only have the American flag because they have no idea where they're from. So they like to use this word, reparations. Don Lemon uses a lot in CNN. What about reparations for the Mexican community and the Mexican American community? We lost half our country California, Texas, with all those oil fields. How many trillions of dollars have come out of there? New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado, Nevada. How about talking about those reparations? Why don't we talk about the truth? Blacks used the race card. We don't. And in their mouths, they're always talking about how the white man is bad, is evil. Which is not true. And I know why they didn't want to go back to Africa. Only 5,000, around 4,700 to be honest. Because Africa has always been the worst place on earth. And then they have civil war because they're different. I don't know. I can't tell the difference. But if we're going to talk about giving money back, let's start with Mexico, Mexican Americans who lost half of their country. And the blacks want $97 trillion. Imagine what they owe us. At least double. See, nobody wants to talk about these subjects. Nobody cares. But I said in the other show, they're awakening a sleeping giant, which is the Hispanic, mainly the Mexican American community. It's going to happen. The other subject I want to talk about is what's going on with Bud Light, my former beer. I used to love Bud Light, king of beers. These trans people who are the 1% really screwed up. And Budweiser has still not fired this person. They deserve everything they're getting. They lost $5 billion. I hope they lose another $10 billion. There was an interview about a few days ago. Restaurant owner of several restaurants in Florida. And some people were saying, is it true you're throwing away Bud Light? And he said, no, I just don't want to sell it anymore. Why? Because we're Christians. You see, this country was founded by Christians. So you gotta respect. There's gotta be respect. Sometimes people don't understand those words. And what does the President of the United States, the guy I voted for, and I regret, and I will vote for Trump in the future, and I hope everybody considers that. It's very important. Because the guy I voted for has done nothing. Why is it he's not come out in public and talk about Bud Light? Why? If a president of the United States of other times would come out on TV or on the radio and express their opinion on something that's disturbing and affects millions and millions of Americans, why does this not happen with Joe Biden? Well, it's because he doesn't care. That's the reason why. We need people like John F. Kennedy. His famous words were, ask what you can do for your country and not what the country can do for you. The Democrats they're lying to everybody. They want to be on the side of the trans, inside of the gays, inside of the black community, and the Hispanic community. They don't do nothing for this black community. Zero. We have an open border crisis. They don't want to talk about it. These guys are anti-Americans. This is why we need a different option. You need to think about it. In the words of the great President John F. Kennedy, ask what you can do for your country and not what the country can do for you. Thank you. And when they talk about reparations, remember, they need to talk about the Hispanic community first.